Lineup as always, world class. So good to have you back in studio, Villa El Jefe. Good to have you on this Saturday. Here we go. TS Galaxy, Mamelodi Sundowns. Is there a difference from a cup competition to the league?
You look at how then these two teams are coming. Of course, you look at Mamelodi Sundowns, whereby I feel like they are really refining themselves. They are able to now discover themselves. They're able to find now the winning momentum. And I think I take away from the CAF Champions League progression, whereby now you could get a sense of now a breather. Now having to say, okay, now we're out of the CAF Champions League, and then they went on to meet Orlando Pirates, a good confidence booster, good things that came out of that match, and then now having to face now TS Galaxy away from home, another epic one, because you know with this one it's going to be very, very feisty, and it's always been a feature that brings battles. It's always a feature whereby both benches will come together and there's going to be that fight amongst themselves. But it should be an interesting one.
It should be. And Jimmy, there's a feeling, of course, that for TS Galaxy it's very, very different. Third successive loss in the league in their last clash.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't come easy than having to face Sundowns, who have just come back from a big victory against Orlando Pirates in the course of the week. I missed the fact that that was a league game. It then says to them it's a different opponent altogether, who's coming into their background full of confidence. What is it that TS Galaxy can pose against Sundowns that could be a threat? I think we'll also just build on that by obviously looking at the lineup and possibly what might come out of it.
Yeah, but at the same time, last 32 Marumo Gallants, they had to dig in deep to get that victory by such a narrow margin, just a solitary goal.
Look, I think there are other factors that might have contributed to that. You see, sometimes the quality of the pitch affects how you approach the game. The fact that they only scored one goal in that game, they might have also been compromised by the quality of the pitch. And I think that is also one of the reasons why they would take a fixture like this with Sundowns, to make it very difficult for Sundowns to be as fluid as they want to be.
Yeah, you look at Sundowns as well. I mean, it can be argued that they themselves in the last 32 against Gomora United were really pushed, you know, also winning by that goal margin. So a 2-1 win for them. Pushed so hard. How will they find the going in this clash?
I think also having to refresh themselves, how then it became so difficult. It was a squad rotation. And also that was going to be evident if then it says, do you have depth that will always keep the bar on top? But at the same time, having TS Galaxy having to bring Mamelodi Sundowns, there's Solomon Mahlang, which I believe is a 5,000 capacity. And I believe also at the same time, they're bringing the game to people whereby it's been absent for them. And also now people are getting closer to that feeling of having to play Mamelodi Sundowns. They play Mamelodi Sundowns right now with very much in full form. At the same time, TS Galaxy, then what do you say to yourself, whereby they found themselves having to be victorious with this cup? And then, of course, the owner team would like to revive those memories and saying, we have a history here. Can you bring those images? Can you bring those moments whereby we found ourselves on the podium and we went on to beat Kaizer Chiefs? On the other side, then you find a player like Umahlangu, which is, they call him Killer at the back. He's the only player that's surviving from those moments. So he would like to share those stories with the players and give them the history and the background of saying we can do it as TS Galaxy.
Oh, clearly, with such a beautiful history. And these are the stories that we love about the Netbank Cup. I think it will live long in our memories when they were crowned as champions, TS Galaxy. This would stand out as a competition that quite possibly they'll look at and say it's an important one in the season for us.
It's an important one indeed, but as you know, that the Nedbank Cup, it's a cup of dreams. You know? It keeps those teams that have got that belief that they can get over giants, get into the next phase or get into the next stage of the competition. And the fact that they are taking the game to their masses, to the people who've supported them. It also just puts a bit of a spark on the game itself. You just hope that the game itself would obviously give out what everybody else is expecting out of this game, which is goals indeed.
Yeah, Umswenko as well. Looking good out there on the pitch. Yeah,
they're really looking good.
Yeah, it signals just the anticipation.
I'm hoping that with that Umswenko, it will come into the field of play. But also having to look at the pitch. I mean, I think the pitch looks convincing in a sense, but I know for sure that pitch is a very, very heavy pitch. I'm hoping that the grass might have been cut a bit low, but at the same time in the gym, I'm asking myself, if then you cut the pitch a bit low, you're anticipating that the ball will move faster. But if then the grass is a bit higher, are you giving yourselves to win a football match because of you are also participating in that game?
So there's two things. If you cut it too low and the field in itself is bumpy, then you're exposing that thin layer that's going to affect the game. Remember, they are going to run on it. So they're going to have a bit of those divots in between. When you make it thick, it then makes the ball move a bit slower. It becomes heavier underfoot. And also you can imagine if it's a cup game and there's a possibility of going to extra time, how tired teams will be. And I think this is why one of the reasons why the Sundowns team have done such a wholesale change on their lineup, which is something that we'll also touch on later.
All right. So both these sides, of course, have met earlier on, they have met earlier on, rather, in the league. But you talk about the ground and the fact that Solomon Mahlangu, it is their home game. So they'll be used to the conditions here. Yeah,
they would be. And the fact that it's a day match, they would want to take the tempo up it a bit, make it very difficult for Sundowns. Remember, Sundowns had to travel for this game. It means their preparation were hampered to a certain extent. They got a victory, that 1-0 victory against Marumo Gala. So they want to ride on that. And the fact that they were able to get a result on this pitch, for them it says it wasn't a bad call for them to take the game back here.
And also, Jim, I think this is an opportunity because of then maybe you're hoping that Sundowns would have changed the team. And then you'll find guys that haven't been hitting the top minutes. And this will be an opportunity for the NTS Galaxy players. This is the opportunity, especially then you feel like it's a new team. If then it's a new team, then you know for sure that they might be missing certain things within their team. So they'll want to impose themselves. They'll want to believe. They'll want to go with these guys if then given the opportunity, because of also they want to play and show. If then they show and say, look, we are very much available to show you that we can do it at the same time, it's a perfect opportunity for them if then the squad is rotated from Mamelodi Sundowns.
Of course. And also maybe if you look at how Sundowns plays on an even pitch, a pitch that favors the type of football they play. You look at this goal. At every moment, they're in control of it. They are playing one-touch, two-touch football. They are moving Orlando Pirates into an area where they are disorganizing them, opening the other side. Mudiba, at this point in time, goes on his bicycle now because he's expecting that pass. But everything is just two-touch. It's one touch, and here's the pass. And on a field like this, Sundowns will always make it so difficult for you. And I think taking them to Solomon Mahlangu, you are compromising this type of football.
This should be impossible for that pass also for Aubrey. It should be impossible. Because it's impossible because of look at the numbers that Pirates have. They are in the right areas.
The pitch allows you.
They are in the right areas. You should be a CM able to cut that ball. But now it speaks about the quality and the observation of the Mudiba. But sometimes what can you do? If then it's the right ball, it's a very gifted ball. This is a gifted ball with a gifted pass.
If as a defender you attempt that, if you get it wrong, it's in the back of your net, as an own goal. And I think it's quality and just appreciating good football. I mean, the build-up was class. You could see how they were moving Pirates out of being organized and making them so disorganized. This is what they would want to do in this game. But I doubt the field will allow them to actually apply themselves.
And it's very small, this one. I think it's very compact.
Oh, yeah?
But then it's very compact. It's not big.